Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. As always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate that. So today I'm coming back again with Purr-fect Days. I've got your Pawsome today with the beautiful little black and white cat, and this sort of one down here looks a bit like Martha that we used to have, and I've also got one of the piece of the double-sided papers that's in the insert pack as well. So just going to bring in 2 pieces of white cardstock. So one is the usual 6x12, and the other one I'm just going to cut down to, let's see, where's that paper gone, because I want to keep that. That's going to be my border, so that is about 2 inches. So if I do it at, I'm going to do it at 2 inches. It doesn't matter if I cut a little bit off the bottom. So that's 2 inches by 12. So that's there. Let's bring in the scoreboard. Turn it the right way. And I'm going to score at 3 and at 6. Because the first card I'm going to be doing is a Z-fold card. Then I'm going to do the same on this piece as well. So 3 and 6. So just give those burnish down. Not going to be going the right way at the minute, but we'll worry about that once we get to the assembling part. So then this is going to come over, and that is going to go back. Okay, and then this piece will then come across the bottom like so. I might do it, no, I'll do it that way. So that's going to go across the bottom. Obviously we're going to decorate that up. So lots of pieces to cut panels for today. So we're going to start with some gold mirror card. Let me grab a couple of sheets because we will need a couple. So first off I'm going to do one for the back. So that is going to be my usual 2 notches under that 6. And then I'm going to take a piece, so we need a piece for here which we know is 3, so I'm going to go 2 notches under the 3, 2 notches under the 6, and that should fit quite nicely onto there. And then we need to do for this piece here, so I'm going to cut that. We did it at exactly 2, didn't we, in the end? Yeah. So I'm going to go 2 notches under the 2. And the longest piece is obviously 6. So we can do 2 notches under the 6 for that one. That should fit onto there quite nicely. And it does. And then it's up to you whether you want to decorate this one. I am going to, just because I think it's going to give it a little bit of support. So again, we're coming in at 2 notches under the 2. And then each of these squares was 3, so we can go 2 notches under the 3. And then 2 notches under the 3, and they should fit quite nicely onto there, and they do. So let's pop those out of the way for a second, and then we want our top sheet. So I want to use these for that sort of bridge part, so just move you over a bit. Now if I go at 1 3/4, we're going to cut that off. So I'm going to keep just a tiny bit of this red, and then I'm going to turn that round and I'm going to cut it at 1 3/4. Just making sure that's nice and straight. And then for the longest piece, I need that to be 5 3/4. Trying to knock everything on the floor today. And that's going to fit quite nicely onto there. Now let me just see how long that is. It's going to be too small, I think. Yeah, a shame. Okay, no worries. I'll do the same on this side. So just going to take a tiny bit of red. Now I'm going to turn that round to 1 3/4. Just keep that nice and straight. And then I need a piece that is 2 3/4. Just check. Yeah, 2 3/4. So we need 2 pieces just for those. And then again, we've got a nice piece there left over. Okay, so let's just move that out of the way and move that out of the way. And then this piece, we want this to be 5 3/4, because this is going onto the back. So that's going to be 5 3/4 square. Got some nice decent sized pieces there if I wanted to do that little 3x6 card that I usually do with the smaller leftover toppers. And then from the paper, and this does feel a bit more substantial than their usual papers, I think, because it's matastic. This needs to be 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, because this is going on that front part. So that is going on here. So you're not going to see very much of it, but just in case you do see anything in the corners, I just prefer it to be something that kind of ties in, and that's the closest one I think I could find that to my eye matched in with these colours. Okay, I did look at the inserts, but the inserts are they are less patterned than some of the others are. So with the insert, it seems to be a plain piece with an image of the cat on one side, so it wouldn't have worked for what I wanted to do with this card. Okay, so as always, I'll just introduce you to my glues. Although this one's just been a little stubborn. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me just get that. Yeah, it's going. So this is the Kalau tacky glue. So it comes in a bigger bottle like this, and I've just decanted it down. And I'm also going to be using the Kalau all-purpose glue, which I've decanted into this small bottle, just because it's easier for me. And I do use a combination of both of these glues. With this bottle here, it does get a little hard if you were to purchase a similar bottle from, I think it was AliExpress I got them from. It does get a little hard to squash the glue out if you let it go down too far in the bottle. So I just keep topping it up. So I keep it to, when it gets to about there, I start topping it up again. So it's all the same sort of glue, same glue that goes in it, so it's not a problem. Okay, and then again, and the thing I like about this little tube is it just puts it down so like a lovely thin amount, so it's perfect. I think I'll go that way around, although it wouldn't really matter. It's a fabric sort of design. Rich fabric it is too. Okay, so let's just make sure I've got that straight. Yeah, That's a bit better. Okay, and then if I just give this another burnish down, just checking that hasn't moved. And I haven't got my little tape runner with me. I know Hunkydory have come out with some beautiful little tape runners, which once I've used up my Crafter's Companion one, I will be buying. Actually, I have got one, I've just seen it. Just a second and I'll grab it. Just put that down. Okay, and if I just put my chair back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so with papers, I don't like to use the tacky glue on, the white glue on tacky glue. This does feel a bit more substantial, like I say, than their usual papers. But what I am going to do is just treat it as if I would for a normal paper. And what I usually do is just put some all-purpose glue on there, and then some, this is a Crafter's Companion permanent dots. And what that's going to do is just, once I've got it in position with that all-purpose, to just smoosh it around until I'm happy. I can press on those dots, and that's going to keep that where I want it to while that other glue goes off. And it's also not going to seep through, warp my paper, anything like that. So, you know, when you see all these little deals for glues and things, it's worth having. You know, it's like the foam pads. The more you have, the more choices you have. So, okay, so with this, I think I want to go. Do I want to go that way up? No, I think I want to go that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do, while those are drying there, I'm just going to go ahead and put my pieces on here. So exactly the same, all-purpose glue all over. And the reason why I put tacky glue in the corners is just because the all-purpose glue, if it gets onto your mirror or any textured cardstock, actually, you know, your pearlized finishes, some of your foil finishes, those sort of things, if you try to wipe it away, it can take that shine off. So that's why I have my Kalau all-purpose in the middle, which gives me that beautiful movability. It also dries with a bit of strength to it, so it dries solid like concrete, as Leanne from Crafter's Companion says. So I've got the best of both worlds. I've got that, I don't have to worry about any of my glue spilling out. The tacky glue also dries a little bit faster than that all-purpose. So it does help sort of stick things a little faster, so I can move on to the next step without having to worry about my last layers moving. Okay. And with this sort of border here, you could have it that way or that way. Just to my eye, it looks a little better that way. So I'm going to go with that. And this is like a Z fold card, or a Z fold card as they call it in the United States of America. Right, let me just check. Yeah, I'm quite in the right place. Yeah, so Z fold card. And these used to be really popular at one time, but you don't see very many anymore. I think there's a big trend at the moment for different card shapes. But sometimes all people want is a square one, you know, like if you're not a card maker, you don't understand how to put these cards up. I think I've said that before, and it can be a bit confusing. I used to, when I used to sell my cards, which was a while ago, I used to have a little diagram of the more difficult ones, like an easel card, so people would know, and I'd also put one assembled on my little stand on my stall, so people knew what they looked like. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a little minute to settle, and what I can do is just grab my topper. For this one, we're going for this big black and white cat, who looks a bit like the kitten we called Sorrow. although the black on Zorro came right down to his nose. It was a proper mask. So this is going to be going on here, and then we want a little sentiment. Got warmest wishes, many happy returns. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, look, you see this little thing here is a bit creepy. It's like a little, it looks like a little king from, you know, like on playing cards. It's just a little weird. Don't know if you can see that. It's like, you know, because like sometimes you look at them, you see something new every time, and I'm like, oh, it's a bit creepy. Okay, let's have a little look at sentiments. So you're Pawsome, many happy returns, thinking of you. I think so. That's going to come across. I think we'll go with many happy returns. It's got a bit of green on, so we've got the green on there here. So I think that's going to fit in. I'll have some gems up here, maybe there. And that should be the design done. Obviously, we're probably not going to use all these frames. Or we might arrange them in a slightly different way. We'll pop those out, give that a little bit of extra time. There we go. Oh, that's there. Okay. So for this, it's real simple to attach it. Okay, so what I usually do is just, I'm going to use my wet glues. Pop a little bit of all-purpose, a couple of extra dabs of the tacky glue. And then what you need to do is just make sure it's nice and straight against the edge of your card. And then hold that down. Pop that on. Just making sure that's nice and straight. Like so. Okay. And then this piece here. Just going to pop some glue on there. Again, tacky glue. Bit extra because I want that to dry quite nice and quickly. You can use your red liner tape if you like. And you should be able to just pop that down nice and straight. And you want it to be straight when it's flat, so that when it opens nicely. If you try and stick here by hand, see, I need to just give that a little bit longer. Yeah, if you try and stick it by here and then sort of by eye it at the back, you won't get it. You could end up in a situation where it's not quite folding like this. You want it to be nice and flush when it's folded. Okay, so I think that's more or less there, but let's have a little play with these while that's gluing. So we've got this one here. Probably would have been better doing it the other way because I hadn't taken into consideration that the frame has got it on also. Might come. Under like that. Obviously we'll make sure they're straight. And we'll just pop that into the light a little better. And I want to keep it, this is quite a big frame, so I need to make sure I keep it within the confines of my actual card. And then we could have that on there like so. Yep, I think that's probably where I'm going to go. So let me pop that back there. This is going to go flat, this gold one, this one here. So I'm just putting this one on there for positioning, and I'm going to put glue around the edge and all the way at the bottom, maybe a little bit there, because I don't want any glue to be showing on the other side. Just going to get that straight as I can. It doesn't matter if I get any glue there, although it would dry clear anyway, but See, that's not straight. Because it's going to be hidden behind the big topper anyway. So I'm a bit happier that that's a bit straighter. Just going to wipe that little bit of glue off that edge. You probably won't see it, but just in case. And then this one we're going to put some foam pads on. Let's see, which ones have we got to hand? Okay, these will be fine. And then I want to go about halfway across there. Oops. And go all the way along there. I think I'll just cut that there. Can always add a bit more on it if I need it. Oops. Coming over a little bit. Yeah, so I just need a little piece to go on there. That out the way and take these backs off. I wonder what we've got coming up this week. Haven't looked to see if there's an email yet, because usually I get a little email because I'm signed up for their little newsletters and that, and you usually get a thing at the beginning of the week telling you what to look forward to. I don't think I've had that yet, or at least it hasn't been there when I've been and looked. It was a while ago though. So I've just put in tacky glue all along there, which is just going to give me a bit of wiggle room time. Now I do want to try and make sure I get this nice and flat, nice and straight. And I'm probably going to come just below my layer. That should be, look at a tiny bit of a foam pad showing there, but I think I might be able to just, because it's almost behind that other layer, I'm just going to tap it underneath the edge with my knife. And that will be fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so you've got options now. I can either go lower with this one and keep things on a sort of without them getting too high, which might be quite nice actually. So what I'm going to do, I know I've got some 1mm pads. So sorry, this is me just having a go. Sorry, somebody's beeping outside, so he didn't like it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pop these 1mm pads onto here. Don't think I'm going to need them on here because that's already raised with that extra layer, so it will be fine. So let's pop those off. So these were the 1mm pads, remember. So that's there. A little bit of tacky glue on there. Still want that wiggle room time. I'm just going to pop a bit there as well. And then I just want to get that lined up. Look like that. It's going to be fine. And then we just need another. I'm going to go with one of these smaller ones as well. Actually, it's This is the 1mm pad again. So I'm just going to cut this down rather than look for the smaller squares, just for speed. A little bit of tacky. Now we're going to come with our mini happy returns. So we've got a nice little cluster going. And then if I grab a little tray, grab some gems. So I'm thinking I want something here and something here and maybe one here. So if I do 3 and then 1 and 1, that'll be the 5. So let's take a couple of the larger ones out. And then I'm just going to pop to there. I did have to put my little, there it is. I had to put this little pen away because Henry had seen it and was quite fancying having a go at trying to get it. So I'm going to put those quite close together. A smaller one, there we go. I don't think I want to go quite that big, but that one and that one, I think those are the same size, yeah. So this is going to be my 5, you know how I like my odd numbers. And obviously if you've got any textured embossing folders, you could totally go and emboss on there, and that would look beautiful as well. For an insert it would have to be the back. Okay, and that's how that one opens. If you wanted to put some more on here, if you wanted to put another sentiment, there could also be, let's just grab this in, maybe we might put another cat on size. It's a little bit bigger I think than 2 inches. It's really good. Yeah, it's definitely a little bigger than 2 inches, so I'm not going to do that. But you've got the other sentiments there, your Pawsome, anything like that, you could add that in. There's probably also ones on the other sheets that may fit in there as well. Let me just grab that last. Okay, so I'm hoping it's not cut any of that out. It's just having a funny 5 minutes, but that's the completed card. Like I say, you could go in with another little topper there. I'm thinking when it's up, it's going to look fine because you're going to have this cat coming across, but if I put a topper in there, it's going to distract my eye from the lines, so that's why I'm not going to do any more to that one. So we've got those on there, so that's our finished said fold card. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, so I've got another piece of 6x12, and I'm just going to do another little normal tent fold card with this one. So I've got a nice square topper there, so I'm going to use that. I'm quite sure why I keep turning that the wrong way in, but there we go. So this is just going to be scored at 6 inches. Give that a little burnished out, go that way. And I've noted that or noticed that Paper Cuts now is doing a pack of 200 6x12 pieces of card, which is I'm going to check the price on that against the 100 sheets of 12x12, and it might be more off here. It's just not quite right. So that was me. Just checking that is. Let's try that. Yeah, it's a very small margin, but it's better than it was. It's looking better than it was. Okay, so this is the cardstock we're going to be using for the next one. I'm not going to cut the cat off, so we will use that on another card. So, okay, so I'm not sure. So what happened was I put something on top of my computer and it was pressing the start and stop button. So I'm not sure how much of that last bit you got. So let me just give you a quick catch up of where I'm at. So basically I've got a 6x12 card. I've got my usual matte layer with 2 notches off, and then I've done a 5 3/4 piece from the printed cardstock to matte onto it, and I've gone ahead and stuck that on. That's where we're up to. So I've dragged in this piece of ribbon. So it's a gold ribbon. It's not, I suppose they would call it fabric, but it's not. Oh, excuse me, sorry. It's not fabric-y. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that along the top just for a little bit of a decoration. So I'm going to cut myself a nice piece. I may put a bow on it later, but at the moment this I'm just thinking of this as a decoration, that's all. So I'm just going to give that a press down, just that it makes good contact with the cardstock. Just usually makes it easier to get the red back off, the red tape off the backing. Okay, so as usual I just put my scissors there just so it doesn't stick to my desk. I'm going to pop that on there. I'm just going to go straight across. And you're supposed to be super sticky. There we go. And I'm just looking on these little design here, seeing if I can just sort of make sure it's kind of straight that way. Just cut off any long ends. And then we can go ahead, just checking that's okay. Yes. So I'm going to put some tacky glue underneath that ribbon. And that's just going to do 2 things. It'll make sure the ribbon doesn't fray, although I don't think this is the fraying kind of ribbon. But it also just another point of securing, another point of glue for that ribbon. Okay. So then we've got our sort of card blank looking like so. So just move that up a bit, I think. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's grab our topper. So we've got this lovely square topper of this cat that looks a bit like Martha. This was a cat we had, and we actually get quite a lot of posts for Martha because when Mum was ill, obviously, and she couldn't get out of bed, she had control of 2 things. One was the phone and one was the remote. And she used to get quite annoyed when people would like ring up cold calling for things and asking her a name. But they'd say her name first of all, Mrs. Upton, blah blah blah, and then they'd ask for a name when it sort of came to the end. So one day she'd had enough and she looked around and Martha was sat there, so she gave them Martha's name. So now we still get posts for Martha, even though Martha's been long gone. Let's have a look. I don't think I want to go quite. Maybe something like this. I'm obviously in the mood to cross these over. I don't like that because you can't really see the piano. So I'm going to pop. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it like that. Just keep it simple. And which way around shall we do it? let's go the opposite way, even though I'm going to have to cut these. So let's just, because I haven't got any 1mm strips, so I'm just going to pop that off. And if I can get this off nicely, come on now. So I don't think these foam pads really like being in the living room because it's a lot warmer than the bedroom. To cut that down just a little bit. It's not popping over, no, it's fine. What I'm going to do is just cut that down. Obviously, if you've got the 1mm strips, you're going to be a lot faster at this than me. I've got a lot of foam pads, but obviously not all of them. Let's see, that feels good. Okay, so I'm going to leave my cat where it is. Actually, I'm going to just put one in the middle there. Just feel like that could drop down a bit in the post. So my new little crafting home is coming along. Probably got about a week or so before. That's if I keep doing the things in the order that they need to be done before I can start moving furniture into that space. I just put some new skirting boards in 2 places yesterday, so that is now up. And then when I finish this video, I'm going to go and fill holes. Holes that I've made while I was doing the skirting board, and holes that was already there. And then tomorrow, if I've still got it, will be the day of sanding. So the other skirting boards need to be sanded, and some of the walls as well. I'm sort of a bit concerned because on some of the walls the paint that was on there has like bubbled up. So I mean, I've got I'm wallpapering it anyway with one of these wallpapers that you then paint over, and they're supposed to cover the bumps and things because it's pretty bumpy out there, you know. I've lived in this house since around about 85, I think, and you know, we were kids banging around, and then there was foster children, they were banging around, and so, you know, and the council really haven't done very much to the house since we moved in. They put a new kitchen in 2015, I think, and they put a new bathroom in. They did replace the shower recently because that was not working, but apart from that, oh, they put double glazing in since we moved in as well, because when we moved in there was wooden windows and of course solar panels, which they don't know whether they're working or not. We had a guy out the other week and he didn't want to do anything with it because apparently it wasn't wired up correctly and it was illegal for him to do anything, he says. So I don't know whether they'll be back or not. It's difficult when you get people coming out from the council like they wanted to do something before and they went in the attic, oh no, there's asbestos there, so they came down again, said they're not doing any whatever job that was, might have been to do with the solar panels, but then they ended up doing it. Well, it's a bit smaller, I said. Oops, one off. Not that way because it's going to glue to my mat. Let's pop you on the lid. Is it you? Yes, it's you. You look at these for a little while, and after a while they all seem like bigger or smaller than each other. And I'm going to put one on this side as well. So just move one down slightly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So just those little gold gems there. So all that needs now is and the insert to go in, which I will do at a later date. So that is our little tentfold card, and it's just coming up at that edge there. So let me just hold that down for a second. Are you coming up there? No, you're fine there. Okay, so let me bring in the other card that we made today, so our little Z fold. So those are the two cards that I've completed today. So hopefully there's not going to be too much or anything missed from the recording, but hopefully if there is, I've caught you up enough so that you don't get sort of lost. But I do apologise, that's my fault. Like I said, I did put some things on top of the keyboard, and for some reason it kept thinking I was pressing a button on the little mouse pad thing. Next time back again with this, more Purr-fect Days. So there's going to be 2 more videos with Purr-fect Days, and then I'm not sure what's going to happen after that because I haven't got anything else new as it stands at the moment. I know there were some nice things last week, so I might see what goes on this week, and then we'll see where we go from there. So it's definitely 2 more days of this. I also did want to have a little play with the little book that came with it, so there may be a day or 2 of that as well, but we'll see how it goes. But hopefully it's probably quite late in the day when I actually get around to post this, so hopefully you've had a good weekend. If you're somewhere where your weekend's not over, hopefully you're enjoying it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting. Bye.